Hi global entrepreneurs, welcome to BGI's YouTube channel. We've had quite an interesting couple of months interviewing key stakeholders in the Portuguese startup ecosystem. We've interviewed investors to startup founders to policymakers. Our goal is to shine some light on the innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem in Portugal. We hope you enjoy this episode. So yes, welcome Fatima to
Thank you very much.
to ScaleUp Portugal YouTube series and our podcast. So first of all, I'd like you to give an introduction about you and about Vodafone Power Labs.
Yes. So my name is Fátima Cardoso. Thank you very much for this invitation. I work for Vodafone Power Lab and I joined Vodafone 3 years ago. I started also working with the innovation program and then I assumed other functions and I returned, so it's good. I've seen the evolution of the program because Vodafone Power Lab started in 2009 and since then it has been evolving and growing, also to follow up with the innovation ecosystem on growth. So this is the innovation program for the entire Vodafone Portugal corporate. And the main goal now is to promote successful partnerships between startups and the different departments and the different areas of our organization. I say now because it wasn't like this. We were 2 years ago, more or less, we were more focused on making projects grow into a business. Now we try to work with more mature startups in order to promote these successful partnerships. Therefore, our goal is to find startups who, obviously, with the required support, are able to become a Vodafone supplier, for instance, or a client, even partners for brand activation, or startups who can develop products and services to be included in our own portfolio of products and services for our customers, consumer and enterprise customers.
Thank you for that introduction and welcome to the first edition of the quarantine edition for the ScaleUp Portugal. And before, we had already scheduled this interview before this the pandemic happened, and things have really changed enormously. So it's quite interesting to see how Vodafone Power Labs has changed to sort of support startups within this period. What are the things you are doing? How fast are you adapting? Obviously, there must have been a learning curve between transitioning from working from office to working from home. Can you just share with us some of those challenges and how you're helping the startups while you are working from home?
Yes, we are all working from home. It was something that Vodafone itself had to do for its own employees, and we found it important to also make our startup safe. So we had to close the offices we have in Lisbon and ask the startups to work from home as well. And then we are keeping up with the entire support program. So we are keeping them informed about how we can support them and give them access to the tools that they can use to continue to promote their business. Also in straight collaboration with BGI, every initiative that BGI has access, we are communicating it also very proactively, and we are trying to find other ways to promote the interaction between startups and our colleagues. So we are having continuous meetings between them, between each other. So we have some pilots running, so some preparations running, and we are not stopping nothing. So yeah, I think we can use this digital context to continue with the good work, but just in a different platform, let's say. So it's not face to face, but we're continuous, and we are very proud to say that it doesn't stop.
Okay, that's awesome. So was there like a major learning curve? Because usually when people perceive organizations as large as Vodafone, and obviously the Vodafone Power Lab is like a speedboat in the sense that it's focused on innovation. It's a part of Vodafone. Was there like a big challenge in terms of transitioning from the regular place to were there guidelines and protocols you had in place just in case this happened?
We were briefed very, very soon, so we knew that this would happen. But I think it was very seamless. Actually, we always had the tools to work from home because it was something that was a part of our reality. We just needed to have a capacity, increased capacity, and it was very good to see how well Vodafone coped with this transition. So I think the learning curve was very quick, and we are now very well settled at home and doing our business with our network all stable. So it's good.
So I wanted to ask, so obviously you've been at this for quite some time. Obviously there are clear challenges you have faced. So it'd be interesting to know if you could share some of those challenges you faced while operating the Vodafone Power Labs.
Challenges with
everything from in terms of scouting, looking for innovation, in terms of like trying to execute your daily activities. I mean, if you were operating Vodafone Power Labs, say for example, in a different ecosystem, maybe things might be slightly different. So what do you think you might want to change a little bit while in your current role?
I think we have been seeing those challenges. That's why, as I introduced Vodafone Power Lab, we saw and we identified the need to grow our own program. For instance, we were seeing that it was not probably the most beneficial for everyone. The way that we were working with the startups, we found more earlier stage startups and helped them grow their business. And then we found that was a challenge because we could not give continuity to the project. So we evolved to this more mature program, and we are dealing with less challenges now. Obviously, they are happening. We need to have resources allocated to the projects. We need to communicate with the teams, but those are the challenges that we find in our day-to-day jobs, regardless of the function that we have. And it's our own job to face those challenges and to work them around. So
I think what I like the fact about Vodafone is the fact that how you evolve, you are paying your ears to what is happening in the innovation ecosystem, and as things are changing there, you are also trying to adapt. And I think, and I know for a fact that I know you do have training programs to help the some of the staff members to be much more inclined to innovation, which I think is actually a great initiative. So in terms of like scouting for startups, what are the particular things or characteristics you look for? I know because we scouting from a VC point of view or from accelerator point of view is quite different from scouting from a corporate point of view. What would you say are the key main characteristics or the things you look for when you're trying to absorb innovation?
Yeah, so besides having a specific set of characteristics, for instance, it needs to be a tech-based startup, so it needs to get some use of our own core service, Vodafone core service. It needs to be something that the startup must provide something that Vodafone actually needs. Because in order to be a successful partnership, Vodafone Portugal and Vodafone must find in the startup solution something that will deliver value to Vodafone's own business. Nonetheless, like I said, it's important for the startup to be technology based and to have the maturity enough to become one of the 4 pillars I mentioned in the beginning of the talk. So it must have the ability to become a Vodafone client, a Vodafone supplier, a partner for brand activation, or to be able to develop a product or service willing to be adapted to our portfolio. So this is always our main goal.
So is it possible if a startup is able to deliver one of the 4 pillars and not all of the 4 pillars, would they still be considered for some of the support you provide to them? Or they must meet all criteria, they must meet all?
No. At least one of them.
At least one of them. And I assume like maybe there's one, perhaps there's also, they must be able to develop innovations that might be maybe useful to your end users, for example, those who benefit from the product. Yes. Okay, fantastic.
Yes.
So we've seen like an increase in startups in Portugal in particular who are focusing on the B2B market. Obviously, Vodafone is a potential client for many of these founders. What do you think founders are looking for? Because they have this distrust against corporates. But then again, working with corporates or having a B2B market is a very, very lucrative and productive sector to be in, especially in Portugal. So what do you think these founders are looking for, or how are you how would I put it? How are you making yourself much more attractive for you to get more founders to work with you?
So we believe that when searching for partnership with Vodafone, startups want to establish essentially a positive association with the brand in order to increase their solution's credibility towards investors and new customers, because being associated to a big corporate and multinational as Vodafone, it's very appealing for the startups. And they want to pursue also the possibility to present their products and services to our customer base, so they can they can grow their business and have less costs with customer acquisition. So I think these 2 things are the most appealing to founders in Portugal.
Fantastic. So there's been a big buzz about Portugal. I always ask this question at the end of all my interviews and about the Portuguese ecosystem, and to ask, especially with the Web Summit, everybody's saying Portugal is rising in terms of innovation, but then there are other people who are like, it's just a hype. It's just a hype. So what's your own opinion on that? Do you think the buzz is validated, or is it just a hype, or are we on the right trajectory to get into where we need to be?
Well, I think the reality might be a little bit ambiguous, and actually it's very uncertain as well. Yes, there is buzz around the Portuguese ecosystem, but there are several factors which none of its stakeholders can control. For instance, we are the house of Web Summit, but let's take this current situation. We are in the context of global pandemic, and none of us, corporates, startups, consumers, could predict this. And an economy is going to take a huge turnaround. So we consider, however, that I consider that our environment, our Portuguese environment, is very resilient. We know our Portuguese communities are tough to beat, right? And they are willing, and we are willing to work hard enough to keep with this buzz and to continue to establish the Portuguese ecosystem as innovative and keep up with this buzz. Yes.
Fantastic. So obviously, post-pandemic, a lot of us will be going back to work around, say, June-ish, July, I think. So, and there's a lot of predictions of what is going to happen in terms of economic downturns and things of that. Like, how is Vodafone preparing, or how is Vodafone Power Labs preparing for this shake in the whole economy, especially in regards to supporting its startup? Are you making any preparations? Are you making any plans regarding that?
Like I said, we are keeping up with our jobs, so we are keeping up with our activities. None of those were shaken. I think just the only things that are being compromised, it's the physical events. So everything else, it's being managed. So we are willing to keep up with every task we promote. So yeah, I think things are going to run as smoothly as possible. and we are not predicting any huge difference from the plan that we have established in the beginning.
Okay, fantastic. So that brings us to the end of this quarantine edition. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to speak with you. Really nice conversation with you. And so finally, how do, you already mentioned it at the beginning of somewhere in the middle of the interview, but I think it's good for you to say it again. And so if startups are looking to work with Vodafone Power Labs, what do they do?
So if startups are wanting to work with us,
where should they go to?
We have, sorry?
Where should they go to? Was there a website? Is there a contact? Yes.
Yes, we have a website, vodafonepowerlab.vodafone.pt, and we have all the information regarding our program, all the perks, what's the main goals of this program, and then you have also a link to make an appliance to our program. You just fill the form. The form it's analyzed, it reaches us, and then we make this analysis within our company. How does the solution fits a given team or a given area? And then we promote interactions and we facilitate the innovative partnership. Yes.
Fantastic. So thank you so much once again for giving us the opportunity to speak with you, and hopefully we can have more of this kind of conversations in the future. Hi everyone, I hope you really enjoyed that video. If you want to know more about Portuguese startup ecosystem as well as the top promising scale-ups in Portugal, make sure you go to our website at www.scaleupportugal.tech and download all our reports that we've written for the ecosystem. So if you just want to find out about what other activities we do regarding the ecosystem, how we accelerate startups here in Portugal, also make sure you go to www.bgi.pt and send us an email and we'll get back to you. Thank you.